Welcome to the big show. My name is Jerk. How is everybody doing on this holiday weekend? Going on feeling strong? Ready for the freaking weekend? Are you ready to have you some fun? Well, if that's the case, and if having fun involves big booty boats, well then have I got a guest for you today. A recent addition to Wowzels and a first-time guest on this very here big shoe. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming out the premium tier 7 US battle cruiser. Give it up for Constellation. That's right, the Constellation. And I know none of you are surprised, because if there is one thing people associate with me, that would be curdled mayonnaise. Dukes to be specific, but if there are two things, that second thing would be US Navy battleship main, because I am constantly pumping out videos of them. So why stop now? I am being a bit facetious here, because generally speaking, I don't play a lot of US battleships, different boats for different folks, and so when Constellation was introduced to Wowzels, it was met by me and my staff with a collective meh. But just like the nerd girl in high school who had so much more to offer once we took off those stupid glasses, so too does it turn out that Constellation have much more beneath the surface. But before we get into that, let's get the commander and modules up on the big screen, and we have member of the Tiggle Bitty Committee, Azure Lane, New Jersey, along with Yachino, bless you, and Andy Stunningham, and yes, that there is another legendary mod. So I'm sure seeing these commanders and these modules, you will understand the name of the game with this battle boat armed with 8 fast reloading Colorado shells. This ship right here, it done be the most accurate battleship in the game, at least so far. And yes, technically it is a battle cruiser, but it takes up a spot of a battleship, so we're going to call it that. It has a 1.9 Sigma, just like the Champagne, and it has a battle cruiser dispersion, just like the Champagne. But it has an artillery plotting room, which makes this the most consistent 406 guns you can buy. Sort of. Kansas has accuracy through volume, but Constellation has accuracy through accuracy. Now, it also has a few Benson torps that can be fairly lulzy, and more importantly, a radar, which is very handy. So what do you need to give up in exchange for all this utility? That would be $70. And armor. Constellation is lightly armored, which helps it go fast, but it is rather ginormous, which means it can catch a lot of shells if you don't have your head on a swivel. But how much do you value hitting what you aim at? For me, a lot, and armor can be mitigated through good positioning, so I guess that's my way of saying, in a roundabout sort of way, I think this is my favorite US battleship. Stop clutching your pearls. I'm not saying the other ones are bad or anything like that. I'm just saying for me and the way that I like to play, this is pretty darn good. But you know what's not good? Blue positioning. Now, I will give credit where it's due. Blue team did manage to not entirely overload the southwest side as they are prone to do, and our eastern flank has actually gone out east. Of course, the problem with that is that there aren't really any reds out to the east yet. And as such, they've committed to a flank with no enemy, and while they will half-heartedly push the advantage, they are going to struggle to win their side against fewer enemies, and our western flank is losing their side despite outnumbering their enemies as well. It probably would behoove the eastern flank to come towards the center of the map at this point, but you know, hindsight's 2020. And maybe this is my fault. I had some fantastic broadside shots on that Vanguard while they flanked around, thanks to me having the center spawn and not just leaving it. But whether my aim or RNG's is cursing me, I was unable to really punish the red team for that. And now I kinda I kind of have to accept my fate, and that is that I'm going to have to support this southwest side and try and hold, oh, what does it look like? Maybe 5 ships off of our base. Okay, just 4. Just 4. At least I've got a destroyer for help down here, right? Well, not for long. Okay, there is a Talon, a Harbin, a Wichita, and this Massachusetts down here. I want to get the Massachusetts off the board because contrary to what you may read at your grocery store tabloids, HE spam is not the end of the world for BBs, baby. In this situation, what's causing me consternation is that I am spotted, and whether by a destroyer or this here Massachusetts, if I can eliminate what I know to be spotting me, in this case the Massachusetts, at least at that point I will know for certain if there is a destroyer that is close to me. And if the destroyer isn't, then one of these HE spamming cruisers is going to have to come out and spot me for the others, and that means one of them will lose an eye. As we saw at the beginning of this match, I am using the pay-to-win commander here, that is Azure Lane, New Jersey, who increases the damage done by your shells at over 10 kilometers, and who can also increase citadel damage, if I'm not mistaken. So, if you can do the math in your head, if we can start racking up some kills here, we can really put the bonk in the bonk-shabonk. Really did not need to take that torpedo there, but we have our damage control ready, and we're going to use it right there. And what I'm trying to see at the moment is, will I drop spot? Because that's going to tell me about the destroyer that we were asking about before, and we are not dropping spot. So, wait a minute. Massachusetts is still in the zone. I do have HE loaded, and this should do it, right? Check that out. I'm looking for the double strike. We use the first 2 guns there. We get the last 2 guns on the Talon, and no dice. So, alright, not a double strike, but we do get our first ship sunk, so we now have that 5% bonus on our shell damage, and we have drop spot. Okay, good to know. Not a destroyer down here, but our support is being chased behind us. If you look over onto the minimap, one of the cruisers is being hunted down by the last remaining battleship, so not a lot of health, but you know what? I need all the help I can get, so let me fire right there. And this is going to be our second ship sunk, and that's going to give us the 10% bonus to our damage as I continue to be HE spammed away. Talon, very little health at this point. I have switched back to my AP. As we know, we overmatched them, and they're in a division with the Harbin. So, where is that Harbin? Take 1, 2 shots there, and there. Oh, it's a Champfon, my bad. So we'll do 2 shells at the Talon, 2 at the Champfon, and yes, there we go. There is the Champfon down. Now we are at 3 ships sunk, and I'm guessing you're starting to see where this is going, because these guys, all they're doing is HE. Honestly, if that Talon had switched to AP, I'd be dead. But whatever, spam HE. It's all you know how to do. It's fine. Anywho, there goes the last shot at the Talon, and okay. God damn Wichita. At least it's not a Wichita CE, right? Who plays that in this day and age? You should be ashamed of yourself if you do, because, come on, man. There's just so many other options out there. So, what do we know about the Wichita? Well, it has a hell of a time starting fires, even to this day. You know, they're going to catch me on fire here pretty soon, and it's one of those things where I'm kind of like, when do we use our damage control? Let's just go ahead and drop our torps there. Maybe Wichita doesn't know that we have them. But I've got to sink this ship. Because, you know, that's really the only hope. And then we still have that Baltimore that we saved who can go after the 2 destroyers. But let's see if we can get this. I'm aiming low, right? Not good. And so we'll take this last shot, and because we didn't do that and they got the fire on me anyway, well, there's Kraken. There's Kraken 488 in the Constellation. I've got this fire going on me, and I'm going to burn out. And that's that. And I will say, our Baltimore gave a good college effort, but it wasn't enough to win us the game. So rather than wait around, let's jump to the scoreboard. And we have 1,547 XP in a game. And you know what? Stop the music.
We ain't going out like that. We ain't going out like that. We ain't going out. We ain't going out like that.
You know what I need? I need something that we can relax in. Maybe have a nice, tall Aperol spritz. Yeah. Brindisi, baby. I kid you not. This was the very next game after that loss, and I've got to say, what are the odds of back-to-back Kraken losses? Well, let me introduce you to the blue team. I'm teasing a little, but let's just say this one is going to be a doozy. A little slow on the start, but that's going to let us talk about the commander and modules on this bellissima boat. So let's put them up on the screen, and no surprises, it is Membelli with Scott and Mikawa. And yes, I know Sanzanetti got some changes in this last update, one of those being an 8% damage buff to, I believe, the SAP and AP, and I've thought about it. I have thought about it, and I came to the decision of no. I get so much more stealth, speed, and agility out of this with Membelli that it's just not worth it for me for that little bit of 8% more damage. Now, throw on top of this that you did see, I do have a legendary mod on here, and that has the potential for up to 25% additional damage. So you do you, and do the do, but me, I am relaxing on the Amalfi Coast, sampling dishes off the mozzarella menu, and just taking in a beautiful day here on Two Brothers. Because what do I have to worry about? We have a Des Moines, a Schlieffen, and a Yamato all in a division together, and you can see right there, they're gonna waltz right up the middle and smash the red team, right? I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I mean, maybe one of our destroyers will decide to go up there with them and then abandon our other destroyer who will have no support and then get completely wiped out on the east side where the red team can flank around while our team is trapped in the center being caught. I mean, who could foresee that? Or is this foreshadowing? In the meantime, I'm going around on my long, wide flank to try and catch an angle on this Mino where I can actually do some damage, which is actually a real pain here because I cannot get an angle to do any actual damage to this Mino. So I keep sitting here waiting for them to turn and do something. Okay, they are opening up a little bit of an angle there, so we should be able to get some damage. Meanwhile, I don't think there's anybody else over here, so there's no reason for me to really continue to push up that flank. I can start going towards their base because what am I going to do behind these islands if there's nothing to shoot at? And oh, why can't we get some damage here? That's all we need is just a little bit. That's not a bad shot right there. What do we get with the damage? Ugh, 2,000. Nothing to write home about. However, look at the minimap. Look at how quickly everything went wrong. So, I, having a brain, have decided I need to go back and protect our base because no one else is going to, and that is the name of this game. Stop relying upon your teammates. If you see something that needs to be done, look at them dropping left and right. You need to go back there and do it yourself. Yes, if I can get some shots on this Mino, then I will, of course, take them. But my priority here is, well, one, let's dodge these torps. But then let's turn back towards our base because, look, that red destroyer is just about to get on there. And no one else is going to do it because they're all trapped in the center of the map. because that's fun. And yeah, it is fun, I know, but please think about the issues that you are causing next time. Old Uncle Jerk isn't always gonna be around to cover your butts, so yeah. This is the downside of trapping half your team inside of the middle of two brothers. One person, sure. Two people, but look, this is not PC. We don't have 12 ships out there. If you put 1/3 of your ships in the center, you had better win. You had better push right through and not just stop in the center because you are doing no good. Speaking of, let's get a sap salvo on that Alaska. That might be okay. What'd we get there? Oh, yeah, about 8,000. Not too shabby. All right, I'd like to keep shooting them, but that would require somebody to spot, and requiring somebody to spot would require somebody not being in the center of the map, but that's where our team is. Well, aside from our one destroyer who I don't really know where they're going right now. Anywho, I've got to go back to the base. This is my priority. We've got to deal with all these things, and again, because I have this concealment, I can start to narrow down where the destroyer is. I'm thinking they're on that far end. They probably want to shoot torps up the center, and I'm not spotted thanks to using Mimbelli. So, yeah, I have a good idea of where they are, and that's why I'm angling the bow of my ship that way, and we're going to use this sap to wreck this rune. Now, there were a few people out there who said sap sucks when this shell type first came out, and hey, let's be real, there were some bugs with it. That being said, those bugs have been taken care of, and as I said way back when, if you can't get sap to work, it's probably because you don't know where to shoot or what to shoot. And I think what you're going to see here is that if I shoot in the right place, we're going to get some good damage. I have no idea who I just torpedoed right there. I may have been that Alaska. Obviously, we've got some other issues. We've got this Yamato. I mean, I'm dead, right? We're pretty sure that the destroyer is off my starboard side, so I have to kind of stay angled that way because I expect torps to be coming. Oh, we get pretty lucky right there, but we'll just have to do what we can to this Yamato in the mean. Okay, there's one set of torps. Kind of slow, kind of stealthy. Don't have time to actually look what it is. Okay, something shooting me. That looks like it would be a gearing or maybe a summoner. I'm not really sure because I can't look at the screen just yet. I'll go ahead and send some torps into where it looks like they're shooting at me from, but I gotta deal with these Yamato, and we will aim where we know we can pin, and we will pick up 17,000 damage right there. Yeah, see, sap actually does work if you know where to aim. Now, let's think about this for a second. We know that Venezia is going to come someday, right? Maybe Venezia will come someday. I have successfully had some 20,000 damage salvos from sap with, I think, 10% bonus damage added on. So I believe I could hit about 24,000 damage in a Brindisi salvo, which means when Venezia is here, I will move this mod to it, and I think we're talking about a potential 30,000 damage salvo coming out of Venezia. That is absolutely nuts. Almost as nuts as a destroyer trying to outrun a Brindisi. And guess what? They can't, because Brindisi is fast. So, now that my team is all dead, well, we got one person left in the center, and I've got to deal with this gearing. Oh boy, what are we gonna do here? 2v4, are they gonna be able to sink anything? I don't know. Was gearing's dropping spot. So I just gotta make a beeline towards the gearing, because if they turn to try and tort me, they're gonna slow down so much that I will immediately have eyes on them. So let's just make a beeline. There they are, still just running. But they're gonna hit the border. And once they hit that border, well, I'm going to get some angle, and yep, there goes that. And I think we actually end up getting a dev strike on this shot, because I guess we did it fast enough, and we do. Cool. All right. they're certainly dropping torps right now. So I'm trying to turn to actively dodge and flip my turrets to the other side, and there are the torps. It looks like I'm gonna eat 2 of them. But what? Oh, but we overturned. Hey, no flooding at least. That could have been much worse. So, get my heal off, and next thing I know, my entire team is dead now. So what do we do? Well, if I want to win, I'm going to need to sink their entire team. And look, if I was on the red team, I would probably be thinking, we got this. Maybe. I mean, I don't really know what the health is on the ships that are over there, but they do have 2 destroyers in Alaska. So, you know, when you're up 3-1, I can understand not saying, okay, let's just run. Everybody turn and run for this border, run from this Brindisi. I mean, it doesn't sound, you know, necessary. So I can understand, you know, pushing forward a little bit. Now, what I was trying to kind of work out in my head right now is I was like, okay, 2 of those ships were last spotted on the east side. If I were them, I would probably continue to push up that way. Or is one of these destroyers going to go up the center? You know, it's really one of those, how confident does the red team feel? So my plan is to actually continue up that eastern flank. I don't want to go up the center. And I'm just going to send some torpedoes up there instead and hope that, you know, maybe somebody happens to eat a torp by chance. You know, maybe we'll just get lucky. So yes, going up the outside after I drop these kids off in the pool. But what's going to happen is that I'm going to get spotted very soon. There go the kids right there. And yeah, I'm making my way over there, and now I get spotted. Okay, is that in the center, or is that out to the right? You can see me kind of looking back and forth, and I'm thinking, I think that's the center. It just seems awfully far for a ship to be able to pull that far away. So let's put on some jams, take it Brindisi, and let's see what happens.
No, it sounds funny, but I just can't stand the pain. Girl, I'm leaving you tomorrow. Seems to me, girl, you know I've done all I can. You see, I beg, stole, and I borrowed. Yeah. Ooh, that's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning. That's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning. Why in the world would anybody put chains on me? I've paid my dues to make it. Everybody wants me to be what they want me to be. I'm not happy when I try to fake it. No. Ooh, that's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning.